Hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode. I came back to Githunguri area. This is rural Kenya. There are a few towns that were requested by some of you, which I never did in my past videos. And to be precise, I'll be doing 3 towns back to back, and the main one is called Kigumo. I'm not sure whether you know that there's a town called Kigumo in Kiambu County, since there's a place in Murang'a County that goes by the same name. In fact, it is a constituency. And the Kigumo town that I'll be taking you today is not a small one. It's quite a big town. I'm even told that there's a local there and some other social amenities. So stick around. The other 2 towns will be a surprise, and we'll start by the small one, which I'm about to get there. In fact, I can see the sign of a small town on my left. So show some love by subscribing to this channel before I find my way into the town center in a few seconds. And this town goes by the name Kanjai Shopping Center. It's only a few kilometers from Githunguri town, about 3 kilometers to be precise. And that was Githunguri Ruiru Highway. It was quite smooth. I enjoyed the ride. And I can see Heshima Bar right in front. It's the first business of the day. I can also see a bunch of old-timers having a good time around the store, which is a nice sign. At least they're beating the boredom. But the rest of the town seems quite empty. I don't know why. Maybe I came a little bit earlier. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, but there's an open hotel and a butchery next to it. It's quite a beautiful town and an old one too. You can see the buildings on my right are quite old. And that can only tell you one thing, that there was a time in the 60s and 50s that money was flowing here. Of course, we can all agree that building a stone house in that era was not a walk in the park. And that was probably because of the coffee business. The coffee plantations were doing quite well in this area. But the industry collapsed in the 80s and 90s, leaving everyone to look for alternative source of living. Well, I don't know why these young kings have decided to park their motorbikes right in the middle of the road, and they seem quite unbothered. Maybe beyond that is a no-go zone. But of course, I must take you to the back street of this old shopping center, and it seems like the young man has heard my call. We are calling them the Gen Zs. And you all know that they are not here to play. In fact, you don't want to mess up with them. In fact, last week they staged a revolution where they stormed into the Kenyan parliament, demanding for real change, and they seem to be succeeding. Well, it seems like there's nothing here, only homesteads. So let me turn around and find my way out of this town. It is quite unfortunate that I had to disturb the Gen Z's peace, only to find nothing back here. I hope I'll be forgiven. I'm not looking for trouble. In fact, I'm just an old-timer who is feeding his curiosity in this small village town. And I'm reminded they have these special kind of greetings, which if they decide to say hello to you, you will automatically change your old bad behaviors. So shout out to them. We got nothing but love. At least they are helping us to regain back our country. And I hope you are enjoying the small empty town as I'm doing myself. And I can see a story building on my right. I don't know how old is it, but it is a sign of development in the village. The future must be super bright for the small town, but I don't know why is everyone, since this is not a low populated area. In fact, the village has a total population of 15,828 people. 7,865 are men, while 7,963 are women. In terms of population density, there are 1,585 people living in a square kilometer in this area. And so this is a typical village setting next to Githunguri town, which I visited 1 month ago. We did a comprehensive video about Githunguri town. You can go check it right after watching this video. It is on this channel. It is quite an interesting town with a crazy history. Well, as you can see, I'm back to the main road. I want to go to the next 2 towns. It's quite a distance, about 20 kilometers from here. But before then, I want to show you Kanjai Primary School, which is right on my left. It's a typical village school, although I'll not be getting there. Learning is ongoing. You don't have to disturb the peace of students. As you can see, this road is very good, although it is not marked. I don't know why, but I can assure you that 5 to 7 years ago, things were quite different here. The road was in a pathetic state. There is also a bunch of small towns along the road. I don't know the name of this one. Maybe you can help us identify the name if you know the area quite well, down on the comment section below. But one thing that has really caught my attention is that most of these towns are developing on one side of the road, which happens to be the left side. There's nothing much going on the right side. I don't know why. But anyway, this is the point where I say goodbye to the beautiful road and venture deeper in the countryside. The road I'm joining is in a pathetic state. I hope you can see it. In fact, I'm around a small town called Kwamaiko, which is only a few steps behind me. But unfortunately, it is not on the menu. I visited it a few weeks ago. Of course, the video is up on this channel, and one thing that really caught my attention about the town is that it has the smallest petrol station that I have ever seen. Also, the current Kiambu Senator One Karongo Adhangwa come from this area, but that's a story for another day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm approaching our second town of the day that goes by the name Kibichoi Shopping Center, and this one is quite big. It's not like the Kanjai Shopping Center that we just did. In fact, I'm making my way to the town center, and it seems like a few roads meet here, and it's good to appreciate that most of them are tarmacked. It's quite a nice place to be. If I decide to turn on my right, I'll be going all the way to Ruiru town, but that is not part of the plan. We are going northward toward the Aberdares forest. There's a small town that I want to take you there. It is our ultimate destination, so stick around. And I can see that Kibichoi is a busy town. Everyone is going about their business. And in fact, businesses are thriving. You can see on both sides of the road. I'll be turning around in a few seconds. We want to capture every part of this town. And remember, the ultimate goal is for you to feel like you have been here. Well, let me give you a few statistics about the town as we go around. And Kibichoi has a population of 8,366 people. So you can see it's a small one. 4,112 are men, while 4,274 are women. You can see the gender gap is not that big. In fact, there are 200 more people in favor of women. And we can confidently say that that's a normal population distribution. Well, in terms of the households, there are 2,509 households in the surrounding villages. And in terms of the population density, there are 1,000 people living in a square kilometer. And as you all know, a square kilometer is about 250 acres of land. So you can figure that out and see how densely populated the area is. And the fact that there are 1,000 people living in 250 acres of land, that means that on average, there are 4 people living in 1 acre. And so you can see that land is quite plenty here. And that takes us straight to the real estate segment as far as this town is concerned. And so for the potential investors, this is your part. I saw a 50 by 100 piece of land going for 3 million Kenya shillings. That's an eighth of an acre right in the middle of the town. You can also find bigger land which are a bit cheaper in the surrounding villages, especially if you want to settle around, build a home, start farming and that kind of stuff. Well, I'm turning around enough with Kibichoi town. Let's meet in Kigumo in a second. Well, everyone, I'm approaching the small town of Kigumo, which is in Githunguri constituency. And as I told you, there's another town that goes by the same name, which is in Murang'a County. Of course, we'll be heading there soon. It's crazy how weather can change real quick in this part of the world. I mean, a few minutes ago I was enjoying sunlight, but now it's raining. But we move on regardless. I'm looking for a way to get into the town center and see how the small town has to offer. But by the look of things, of course from the outside, the town is quite busy. I can also see some not so modern buildings along the main road, which is a sign of development. In fact, some of them are story buildings. Anyway, let me get into the town center. And remember, this is the old part of the town. This is where everything started. And remember, this is the interior part of the country. There's no major highway next to the town, and there's no any other major town ahead. In short, what I'm trying to say is that if you find yourself here, you must have purpose to be here. So any kind of growth here is well earned, as the town is self-made. Well, I'm cruising in what is supposed to be one of the busiest streets in the town, and there's a sign of tarmac, but it's long gone. It seems like the town was already tarmacked in the 70s and 80s, and that can only tell you that there were quality leaders from this area in that era. Well, there's an open-air market on my right, and it seems like the public dump site is right in the middle of the road. It's not cool in any way. It's pathetic. Whoever is involved, and I'm sure it's the county government, please do something for the people of this town. They deserve better. There is also a lot of chickens feeding on the dump site. You know, free food is not easy to come. Quite unfortunate, I have to pass through the dump site. And for the legends like me, we all know that those are the most tasty chickens ever. I don't know what is the connection between the freelance chickens and the taste, but they are the best. Most people here call them kienyeji. They are also a bit expensive than their improved counterparts. Anyway, I have also noted that most shops along these streets are closed. It seems like business is not doing so well. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people from here have decided to turn part of the street into a dump site. I have also noted that there's an alcohol joint next to the dump site, which goes by the name Comfy, which is a short form for comfortable. You can reverse the video a few seconds, you'll see it. It is next to the dump site. Well, I don't know how comfortable the place is, but I can bet it's not. I just felt sorry for the investor and the patrons too. Well, the place is not as densely populated as you would thought. In fact, it is a typical village, as you can see. The place has a total population of 7,707. That is according to the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics. 3,876 are men, while 3,829 are women. On the population density, there are 567 people living in a square kilometer, which is quite low, especially when compared to the last town that we visited, which is Kibichoi town, which had a population density of 1,000 people living in a square kilometer. You can see this one has cut the population density right by 50%. It is also good to know that the border between Gatundu South constituency and Githunguri is not far from here. In fact, they are separated by a river, which is not far from here. Well, that takes us straight to the real estate segment. And it is good to know that most people here are homeowners. The village life is common here. But a few rent houses, probably teachers, business people, doctors, and other professionals who work here but are outsiders. And to buy a piece of land here, that is probably a 50 by 100, which is about an eighth of an acre, you'll need about 1 million Kenya shillings, which is about 8,000 US dollars. And I know to an outsider, especially those living outside Kiambu County, that price is still expensive, especially when considering that this is a rural area. But that's common in Kiambu County. Most parts are a bit expensive. This is because Nairobi City is not far from here. Don't get it twisted. I know this place might look like a village, but it is not far from the big civilizations in this country. In fact, Ruiru town is only 17 kilometers from here, which is about a 24-minute drive, while Nairobi City is about 45 kilometers from here. And so you can see why land prices are a bit expensive. In fact, with a million Kenya shilling and you decide to go to a place like Nyandarua, which is the neighboring county, you can get a very nice acre of land. Well, in terms of renting, with about 5,000 Kenya shillings, you can get a very good house in the town. So you can see life is not so expensive here. It's affordable. In fact, for the food stuff such as milk, arrowroots, bananas, sweet potatoes, just name them, they are quite affordable as most people around here are farmers. Well, I don't want to leave the area without giving you the aggregate population of the entire constituency, which is Githunguri. And as of 2019, it had a total population of 165,232 people, which was an increase from 147,000 people in 2009. In terms of population density, the constituency has 947 people living in a square kilometer. The annual population change is 1.1%, which is slightly lower, especially when compared to other constituencies in Kiambu County, while the biggest towns in the constituency are Githunguri, Kwamaiko, and Ikinu, all of which we have covered. In terms of the gender distribution, 50.3% are women, while 49.6% of the total population are men. In terms of the intersex, there are only 8 in the entire constituency, which is a bit low, while in terms of age distribution, only 12,000 people are aged 65 and above. Well, let me leave you at that. Thank you for watching thus far. Please continue watching the scenic video until the end, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Village to Town, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Also like the video so that YouTube can recommend it to as many people as possible, and smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you'll be among the first few people to be notified. I also want to take this opportunity to give special shout out to Team Village to Town TV, those who watch and like every video. Be blessed, fam. Also keep the conversation going. Tell us what you think about the video. Will you consider living here? Share your thoughts down on the comment section below. I also want to appreciate those who are offering other kinds of support. The list is long. I appreciate you. And that reminds me that we want to get the best camera so that we can get the best shots for these towns and villages across the country. And also for those of you who have taken their time to call me in the course of this week, I appreciate the love. Thank you.